Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Li Keqiang, the Premier of the People's Republic of China.
Professor Klaus Schwab, Executive Chairman of the World Economic Forum, and Mrs. Schwab, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, dear friends, let me begin by extending, on behalf of the Chinese government, a hearty congratulations on the opening of the 7th Summer Davos Forum in Dalian, and a warm welcome to all the distinguished guests and foreign friends who have traveled from afar. 7 years ago, when the Davos Forum came from the high mountains in Switzerland to the shore of the Bohai Bay in China, I was working in Liaoning. I was personally engaged in the launch of the Summer Davos Forum. And since then, the forum has been held in Dalian and Tianjin in rotation, gaining greater influence and attracting important leaders of government and representatives from the business community. And shared the achievements and exchanged ideas on the growth of economy of the world and in China. The theme of this year's forum is meeting the innovation imperative. It shows that the forum has been forward-looking and points the way to the future. I hope that the forum will stimulate sparks of wisdom among the participants. Since September 2008, 5 years has passed since the outbreak of the international financial crisis, yet the world economy still faces a complex situation. Just as some developed economies begin to show some signs of improvement, some emerging economies are confronted with rather serious downward pressure. As we often say in China, hardly has one wave subsided when another wave rises. Affected by a multiple of factors, economic growth in China has slowed down to some extent and caused attention of the world. Yesterday, Professor Schwab and I had an exchange of views with some of the business representatives. They all showed a keen interest in the state and prospects of the Chinese economy. For some time now, there have been many comments on the Chinese economy, wondering whether it may slow down too early, like in some other countries, or even encounter a hard landing. What I would like to say is that the Chinese economy, which is at a crucial stage of transformation and upgrading, is moving forward satisfactorily and steadily, and its fundamentals are stable. In the first quarter of this year, economic growth in China went down from 7.9% in the fourth quarter of last year to 7.7% and further to 7.5% in the second quarter of this year, with a reduced increase in consumption, investment, and foreign trade. There was a registered negative growth in the central government revenue, which has not been seen for quite some years. That has caused some worries and comments, which is inevitable. Confronted with downward pressures, we stayed committed to the overall policy of seeking steady economic progress. We took a host of innovative policies and measures with a holistic approach to pursue steady growth, conduct structural readjustment, and promote reform, which serve to ensure a smooth economic performance. First, keeping the macroeconomic policy stable with consideration given to both immediate and long-term needs. In the face of economic downturn, a short-term stimulus policy could be one way to drive up growth. But after weighing the pros and cons, we concluded that such an option would not help address the underlying problems. Hence, we opted for keeping the macroeconomic policy stable, which we believe served both the immediate needs and the long-term interests of the economy, which is quite a difficult option. With respect to fiscal policy, we introduced policy measures that kept deficit from expanding, readjusted expenditure structure, cut down administrative expenditures, accelerated spending, increased support for the central and western regions, as well as for structural readjustment and for improving people's well-being, and granted preferential tax treatment to small and micro businesses. In terms of monetary policy, we stayed focused and responded calmly and boldly to difficulties without relaxing or tightening the monetary policy in spite of the short-term fluctuation in the money market. We supported the real economy mainly by structural readjustment, mainly by making good use of both the stock and incremental. At the same time, we strengthened supervision and improved regulation to prevent and diffuse potential risks in the fiscal and financial sectors. Regarding the local government debt issue, which has become a source of concern, we are taking pertinent measures to regulate and address it in an orderly fashion. Here, I can say with certainty that the situation is on the whole safe and manageable. Second, steadfastly pursuing reform and opening up with priority given to the stimulation of the market. Reform and innovation provide an inexhaustible driving force for a country's development. What this government has done first is to vigorously reform the administrative system with focus on transforming government functions. Since the beginning of this year, we have abolished or delegated to lower levels the conduct of administrative review and approval for over 200 items. By streamlining administration and delegating power, the government aims to delegate power to lower levels as much as what is necessary and appropriate, while effectively managing all the matters within its purview, so as to provide a level playing field for all enterprises and stimulate the creativity of market players. We have expanded the scope of the business to value-added tax pilot reform and advanced reforms relating to market-based interest rates, the investment and financing system for the construction of railways and other infrastructure, pricing of resource products, and the government procurement of public services. We have accelerated the reform of economic structure, endeavored to develop a mixed economy, relaxed market access in the financial, oil, electricity, railway, telecommunications, resources development, public facility, and other sectors, encouraged more investment of the non-public sector, and provided greater space for business of various ownerships. China's development will not be accomplished without reform, nor will it be achieved without opening up. And we have explored new ways to open China wider to the outside world. In the first half of this year, we signed FTA agreements with Iceland and Switzerland, respectively. And we have recently discussed with ASEAN leaders on how to upgrade the China-ASEAN free trade area. In our effort to build a pilot free trade zone in Shanghai, the negative list approach will be explored, and priority will be given to easier investment access and greater openness in trade in services. We have also adopted measures to facilitate foreign trade and promote a steady growth in import and export. Third, readjusting and optimizing the structure with emphasis on transformation and upgrading. China is now at such a crucial stage that without structural transformation and upgrading, we will not be able to sustain economic growth. In readjusting the structure, the most important aspect is to expand domestic demand. And a major task is to pursue a balanced development between urban and rural areas and among different regions. We will rely mainly on industrialization, IT application, and a new type of urbanization and agricultural modernization, and focused on developing the service sector, which is of strategic importance. We are cultivating new growth areas of consumption and implementing the Broadband China strategy. We will enhance the weak links and invest more in energy conservation and environmental protection, redevelopment of shanty towns, infrastructure in urban areas, and railways in the central and western regions. We are stepping up support for the contiguous and concentrated poverty-stricken areas. We have adopted social policy measures to promote old age care, health, cultural, and educational, and other services. We are implementing the strategy of innovation-driven development at a faster pace, aggressively promoting technological innovation and deep integration of science technology with the economy, and building a social environment friendly to innovation and business startup activities.
Since the start of this year, China has been successful in coordinating efforts to seek steady growth, structural readjustment, and further reform. This is mainly attributable to innovation in macro management. Seizing the growth potential and acting on the real need, we have set a reasonable range of economic performance with a lower limit designed to ensure steady growth and job creation, and an upper limit which is meant to avert inflation. The limits are also seen as benchmarks for anticipatory regulation measures. We have developed a macro policy framework in keeping with the reasonable range of economic performance. As long as the economy runs within the reasonable range, we will keep the macroeconomic policies generally stable and focus on shifting the growth model and on structural readjustment. In this connection, what is essential is to advance reform and innovation, tap potential domestic demand, drive innovation, and unleash reform dividends in order to boost market vitality and the internal driving force for growth and upgrade the Chinese economy. These measures have brought about a sound momentum of stable economic performance in China. In July and August, PMI, PPI, and PPI, industrial value added, import and export, power consumption, freight volume, and other major indicators all rebounded. The real economy was active, urban employment continued to improve, and prices were stable. with enhanced market confidence and growing public
这种稳
expectations.
中有进的
Such
发
a
展态势，
development
是我们坚信
momentum of steady
今年
progress gives
我国
us the
经济社会
confidence
发
that
展
we
的
will
预期目标
meet the
主要
economic
任
and
务。
social development
一定会
goals and the
实
major
现。
tasks set for the whole year.
同时，我们仍然保持
Having
着
said that,
清醒的头脑，
we are
清
sober-minded
楚
about
看
the fact
目
that
前经济回升的基础
the foundation for economic rebound is still fragile, with
还很多，
many
我们
uncertainties
不能
ahead.
也绝不会
We
掉以
cannot
轻心，
and will not
会
slacken our efforts.
用坚定的
We will
信心、毅
show
力、
strong confidence,
智慧
resolve,
去克服
and
困
wisdom
难
to
和挑
tackle
战，
difficulties and
各种
challenges
准备。
and be prepared
女士
for
们、
anything.
先生们，
Ladies and
中国
gentlemen,
经济持
the
续
fast
30多年
growth
的高
of the
速，
Chinese economy over the past 30
创造
odd
了
years
世界发展史上的
is
奇迹。
a miracle in the history of
当前
development of
中
the
国经
world.
济已经进入了
The Chinese economy has
中高速增长
entered
阶
a
段。
phase of medium to high rate growth.
7.5%左右的增速，与过去
Although
中国2位
lower
数增
than
长
the near double-digit rates seen in previous
但从
years,
世界范围
a
看，
growth rate in the neighborhood of 7.5% is still considered high for any major economy in the
中
world.
国经济总量比过去
China's
也明显
economic
增大，
size is considerably bigger than
又进入
before.
了转型发展的阶段，潜在
As the
增长
economy enters a phase of transformation,
经济
the
增长
slowdown of its prospective growth and its moderation from a high speed to a medium to high speed are only
但是
natural.
如此庞大的经济体，
But
如果
for
能够实现
such a big
中高
economy,
速、长期、持续
a
增长，
sustained growth at
是
the medium to high
不容易的，
rate
也
is
是
not easy.
对中国乃至对世界的贡献。
It will
尤
be
其
a
是
contribution to
我们
China
未来的
itself and also to the
增长
world.
必须
Especially
是以提高质
important
量
is that
和
China's
效率
growth in the coming years must be
必须
predicated
以
on
资源
higher
节约
quality and
和生态
efficiency,
环保
bolstered by
为支撑，
resource conservation
必须
and
与
environment
科技创
protection,
新
and
和
driven by
技术进步
technological
与动力
innovation and
必须是
advancement. It
保
has
障
to be a
就
growth
业
with
和使
sufficient
居民收入
employment
相应增加
and
的
growing
增长。也就是
household
说，
income.
要让
That is to say,
改革和发展的成果惠及最广大的
we
人民
need to spread the fruits of reform and development to the whole population.
前景光明。
Looking ahead, I see bright prospects for China's development. We are well placed to sustain a healthy economic growth in the long run.
中国的工业化
The process of industrialization and urbanization is far from being completed.
和市场潜力
This
巨大，
promises a big room for regional development and huge market potential.
推进改革
Reform,
必将
an
释放
overriding
新
trend
的
that is irreversible, is bound to unleash fresh institutional vitality.
不断改善民生，
As long
促
as
进
we
社会
continue
公
to
正
grow the economy, improve people's living standards, uphold social justice, stay
走下去
firmly
咬住
on
长
the
远
path
发展
of
的目
reform
标
and opening
不
up,
放松
remain committed to
解
long-term
决
goals,
眼前的问题
and
不懈怠
focus on addressing immediate challenges, the giant vessel of the Chinese economy will
乘风破浪
break waves
扬帆
and
远航
sail far.
中国经济也一定可以
And we
保
will
持长期持续
achieve the
健康
sustained
发展。
and sound growth of the Chinese
我
economy.
们必将实现，而且一定会努力实现
We
这一目标。
Will work hard to achieve this goal.
女士们、先生们，
Ladies and gentlemen,
当今世界
in the world
经济
today,
全球化
the trend towards economic globalization, a multipolar world, and IT application is gaining momentum. We live in a global
没有哪一
village.
个国家
No
能
country
够变成离群
can
所居的，
live in isolation of others, just like Robinson
很
Crusoe.
难找到现代鲁滨森了。
It is difficult to find such a modern
中国
version
经
of
济的发展
Robinson Crusoe.
从对外开放中
Over the years, the
获益
Chinese
匪浅
economy has
同时
benefited
中国
tremendously from
已
its
经成
opening
为
up policy.
世界经济增长
At the
的
same time,
主要
China has
推动
become
力
a
量之一。
major engine driving world economic growth and played an important role in responding to the international financial crisis. In the next 5 years, China is expected to import $10 trillion of goods, invest over $500 billion overseas, and send over 400 million tourists abroad. China, with its economic structure transformed and upgraded, will contribute more to the prosperity and development of the world economy. China is ready to share this huge business opportunity with the rest of the world and hopes to have a better cooperation environment for its development. As a major developing country, China should assume its responsibilities in international affairs. As its economy expands, China will play an increasingly bigger role in international affairs correspondingly. We have an ancient Chinese saying which goes, "A gentleman is always ready to help others attain their goals." So we believe that only by helping each other can we all attain our goals. We are ready to take a greater part in international governance and do our best to provide international public goods. We are ready to share our poverty reduction experience with fellow developing countries and give them assistance to the best of our ability. We will share the responsibility for a strong, sustainable, and a balanced world economy. China, however, is still a developing country. Over 100 million Chinese still live under the poverty line by international standards. China's modernization will be a long and arduous process. The international responsibilities and obligations China undertakes must be commensurate with both the level and approach of its development. In view of the difficulties and setbacks in the global economic recovery, members of the international community should increase coordination on macroeconomic policies, as well as their readiness to cope with cross-border financial risks and help speed up the reform of the global economic governance. Developing countries should have greater representation and a bigger voice in international affairs so as to minimize the adverse impact of the adjustment of QE policies by some countries on the entire world economy, emerging market economies in particular. All countries should open wider to other countries, take a clear-cut stand against all forms of trade protectionism, and work in concert to enlarge the pie of the world economy. China will continue to encourage foreign companies to make investment and do business in China. We will improve the investment climate, intensify IPR protection, and create an environment in which all players have equal access to factors of production, market competition, and legal protection, while taking up social responsibilities together. Facts will continue to prove that to come and do business in China is a wise decision for multinationals to grow their business. Ladies and gentlemen, we live in a time of fast changes. Changes call for innovation, and innovation leads to progress. Innovation is the running theme and spirit of the policies adopted by the Chinese government, and innovation is a banner that China will always hold high. I hope that you, the new champions of the world economy, will indeed become champions of innovation and change in your respective fields. Over the years, the Summer Davos has played a unique role as an important platform for discussions on the Chinese economy. Now, The new season of the Chinese economic miracle, one of better quality and higher efficiency, is being unveiled. And we hope that more exciting stories will follow. I am sure that the Summer Davos will achieve greater success, present to the world new progress of the Chinese people in building a modern country, and contribute more wisdom and strength to the common prosperity of China and the world. In conclusion, I wish this year's forum a complete success. I wish you all every success and good health during your stay in Dalian in China. Thank you.